Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday, and I am playing a little bit more Ace Attorney Investigations, Prosecutor's Path. Now, the last time that I played the game, boy, we did a whole lot of, like, spiraling around. We solved some mysteries, but at the end of the day, our client is still kind of in the crossfire with all this shit. As well as it seems like, I don't know, Elbert might be an accomplice, maybe, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure. It comes down to what we are going to be finding in the courtyard today, which I believe that is where we left off last time. So let's go ahead and move over to the next tab and begin, shall we? There we go. Everything should be leveled off and everything should be working. There we go. Imprisoned Turnabout, end part 2. I wonder if there's an end part 3. I don't know. I'm curious. I want to see the resolution for this. Like, how did this go about? All right. March 29th, 10:12 a.m. Prison courtyard. The next day. We have returned, and the stage is gone. The courtyard. Depending on what we find here, the entire incident could become clear. However, there's nothing left here. Yep. Yesterday... Isn't there one more possibility? The well in the courtyard. It's possible the body was dropped down from there. In other words, the body being dropped down the well and then moved to the workroom. Could only have been done during the show. And the only one who could have done it is Simon Keyes. Well, good for you, lady. Was the body dropped down the well or not? This could be the decisive clue that we need to reach the truth of the matter. Before I continue with the investigation, I should organize my evidence. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. Oh, man, great. It's a good thing that the game isn't throwing a whole bunch of, like, old crap, and yeah, funny enough, the old stuff can trip you up a little bit. So I don't know if that's just a quality of life thing they started doing, but a long time ago, they did not do that for any cases. If you got a piece of evidence, that piece of evidence existed in your evidence bin for the entire time you were playing a game. So I have no clue. Here, I'm going to swap over to the different headset. How about that? Pop them buds in. Turn it down. I really need to get used to just leveling off this sound before I start. I don't know why, I haven't gotten used to it. There we go. Let's see here. Hey, there's a grate here. It's a great grate. Sorry. The well has run dry, after all. They even put a lock on it. Lockpicking is one of my specialties. Want to see? There's absolutely no need for you to show off. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Whoa! What happened, Kay? The lock is broken! Judging from the looks of it. Feels like it was broken some time ago. Uh-oh, that's not good for our case. So the lock was broken. This means that anyone could have dropped the body down the well. Well, I guess if it's anybody who could have dropped down the well, that helps us a little bit. According to Judge Courtney's reasoning, Mr. Keyes murdered Knightley in the courtyard. Not murdered him. And then during the show, he disposed of the body in the well. You think so? Did he really use the well to move the body? Ah, I know. Let's get Missile to help out again. Hello, Mario. He should be able to track the scent of the body. Good idea. Let me contact Detective Gumshoe. Beep, boop. Okay. So the first thing I immediately thought was whatever budget Gumshoe has at this stage probably goes directly to his cell phone now. And that is unfortunate. Yes, sir. Detective Gumshoe here. I just got back from The Incredibles 2. Sweet. How was it? I heard some controversy about The Incredibles 2. I guess there's some flashing lights and stuff. And a few people mentioned that if somebody has severe epilepsy, they probably shouldn't go see it in theaters. You loved it? I've seen the first Incredibles. I thought about going and seeing that one. I don't know. I haven't been up on a bunch of the movies that I saw as a kid that sequels just spontaneously came out for. Like, I never saw Finding Dory, which I absolutely should. Because apparently it was just more of a good thing. And I feel like The Incredibles 2 is going to be just as good. Anyways, Detective, I have a favor to ask of you. We would like you to bring Missile to the prison courtyard. Sounds like you need the help of one of my CF7 secret weapons again, huh, sir? I thought Missile belonged to the police department. Nope. Apparently not. Sure, they'll slow the flashing lights on DVD. Maybe. One of the positive things is that you're not seeing it on a gigantic screen in the middle of the dark. That's the major problem with certain scenes like that. Like, photosensitivity tends to be enhanced whenever it's rapid fire of, like, dark light, dark light, dark light. Oh, God. I'm just reminding of that one controversial episode of Pokemon that didn't air in the States because it gave, like, a bunch of Japanese kid seizures. Woof. And also, I would like for you to contact a witness. Please contact Regina Berry of the Berry Big Circus and bring her here. Roger that, sir. I'll bring them over in a flash. Just like the Flash of The Incredibles. So, what should we do while we wait for Gummy? How about some hide and seek? Please don't jump down the well. What are you talking about, Kay? There's nowhere to hide here. I don't think that's the issue. Kay, during times like this, isn't it your turn to shine? Ah, that. You want me to recreate the crime scene. Ah, sweet. That's DC. Alright. How do you do that? See for yourself. The Great Thief's secret weapon. Lil Thief. There should be need. Whoa! What's that? Screens floating in midair? Just what are you doing, Kay? Dash is... Oh, man. I'm not... No. Flash of lights like the flash of lights coming from the screen. As I was saying it, I was like, oh, no, wait. Actually, as I was saying it, I thought it might be misconstrued as talking about the Flash from DC. No. Anyway. I'm entering the information needed for the simulation. That's gotta be jar. This is like, okay, what are you two mooks doing here? Like, simulation? Little thief? Who? What? Why do you have this scientific mumbo-jumbo in front of me? I'm a simple man. A simple defense attorney. Mr. Shields, this little thief is a tool that can recreate a crime scene based on the information it is given. Should I set it for how this place was like when we came here yesterday? Yes, I believe they were in the middle of taking down the set. We didn't pay enough attention to the well, so it's possible we may have missed a clue. You know, I pointed at the well and went, that looks suspicious. But apparently the game didn't think so. Leave it to me. I took a picture of the place, too. There, and there. Data enter complete. Now to set the projection to maximum output. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing. One alone remains all-seeing. Now witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Boy, that visual got an upgrade. What? What just happened? I recreated the courtyard from yesterday, based on the information I entered. This was a tool the previous Yatagarasu used. It's a device to run simulations to practice stealing things. But used in this manner, we can inspect the crime scene as it was in the past. Be back soonish. Thumbs up. Gotcha. Oh, but it's still only a recreation based on what information we have. I can't recreate what I don't have information for, and if my information is incorrect, the recreation could come out strange too. I haven't seen anything like ridiculously strange. It's been like, okay, so there was a monkey located here, and then you don't specify the type of monkey, and it's just a weird mix between a chimpanzee and a bamboo. Oh no, not bamboo, a baboon. There. Yeah, what the hell is wrong with English today? In this case, since Kay had the photo, there should be no problems. Now, let's begin the investigation. Very well. I'll take a look at the well in just a little bit. Since it's a recreation, you can examine things just like you always do. You can even present evidence when you find a contradiction. Yes, I know. First, I should start with that well. Why do I have to? there's weird glitches all throughout this entire thing. I like the upgrade for the visuals. These were used for audience seating during the show. Folding up all these chairs must have been a chore. Is that so? Don't... Oh, right, I remember this. You've never tidied up folding chairs and shit? Manual labor, Miles. Doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop. Okay. Here. Which one of these buttons is, Oh, yeah, that's the sprint button. Oh, I suppose there's nothing different for you guys. I'll go to the well. Fine. Ooh, pretty. Yeah, these things again. Let's examine the area around the well. It holds the key to this case. Okay. Well, we were looking at this before. This is a metal weight. It weighs... It's hard to see in the recreation. Kay, do you remember? It says 33 pounds. It's not that hard to read, even in pixels. I think it was 33 pounds. So I got a rope and a weight to maybe weigh something down, and pulleys as well. Interesting. I wonder what such a heavy thing was used for. It doesn't seem to be directly related to the circus. Right, rope. It's a sturdy hemp rope. It looks like the rope they used for tug-of-wars. I'm not going to play tug-of-war with you. I didn't even say anything yet! There's a metal stake attached to the end of the rope. Oh, sorry. Wrong voice. Ah, you use those to pin down the tent when you go camping. It doesn't seem like they'd need for this for the performance. I wonder what it was used for. Very well, and then we have a set of pulleys and what appears to be another one of those... towels? I forget. There's some pulleys here. They don't appear to be the pulley that was used to lift the bucket from the well. Alright. So now that I got that information, I wonder if maybe I can logic it all together. Shit. I only have one piece of logic, never mind. Can I examine the well directly then? The well was behind the stage. That means only a few people would have access to dump the body in the well during the performance. Oh, this isn't looking good for Mr. Keys. These things around the well, what were they used for? They don't seem to be related to the animal show. I agree. We can ask Miss Berry about it later. Right. Well, is that everything going on? Maybe I could look directly at the stage. This is the stage where they put on the animal show. If I put on a great thief show, I wonder if anyone would come. I think I talked about this, and I said it was a bad idea. Cyber elephant. What was the elephant's name again? She's Astique, the Asian elephant. Ah, that's right. It's an easy name to remember. Maybe they couldn't think of a good name, so they gave her a name that's easy to remember? Mr. Edgeworth, what a terrible thing to say about poor Astique. That's all the information we can gather for now. The detective should be here soon, too. He just runs in. I got all the stuff, pal. Oh, Jesus. God, can you wait just 5 minutes for me to get here? Before you start using sci-fi? I noticed that the frame rate on the stream... Well, actually, not frame rate, just the output is just a little bit hectic at the moment. I'm not sure why. We don't have any drop frame, but I think we're fine. Okay, go ahead and shut down Little Thief. Alright, returning the area to normal. Suck up all those simulations back into the phone. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Again, missed the party. Hey, speak of the gummy. Detective Gumshoe. That was quick. I couldn't keep you waiting for too long, sir. Thanks for coming along too, Regina. No problem. Sounded like fun, so I skipped practice to come here. So irresponsible. Then again, she knows basically everything about the circus, so there we go. Thank you for your cooperation. First, Detective, let's have Missile do some tracking. No problem, sir. Hey, Missile, over here, pal. Oh, he is immediately pissed. Hey, what's eating you, pal? I said over here. What's the matter? Looks like he's scared of something, sir. Oh, right, that guy. The alligator! I guess he's scared of the alligator, sir. Good grief. Looks like Missile won't be much help to us. Well, piss. I suppose that alligator would really, really enjoy a snack, so probably for the best. So what should we do, Miles? Maybe we can ask Miss Berry for help?
What is it? What is it? Is there something I can do? Do you want me to teach Allie a trick?
Actually, she probably could. No, I just need you to tell me about the condition of the courtyard. Yeah, it's like, possibly. Can you teach the alligator to sit? Roll over? Play dead? Make it play dead constantly, sir. There. Looks like it's my time to shine again. Yes, if you please. Oh, good. We have to explain this to a bunch more people. Everybody shield your eyes. This is very bright. Alright, that should do it. I'm starting up the recreation now. Bingo. Recreation complete. This time you can see how the courtyard was during the animal show. This should be around the time the body was dropped down the well.
Wow! Cool! It's just like magic!
It's not magic. I just recreated the scene based on the information you gave us. See? Look over there.
The backstage area is missing.
Well, maybe if Regina knows a thing or two about the backstage. Well, Regina didn't help with the preparation, so she doesn't really know how it was set up. Ah, I get it. You can't recreate what you don't have the info for, huh?
I'm sorry. It's because Simon took care of setting everything up.
Don't worry yourself none, Regina Pie. Miles is the one at fault here.
Why me?
Mr. Edgeworth, I recreated the show in progress, but I can also change it to how it was earlier when it was being taken down.
I see. So we can examine the courtyard during the show and after the show. We can freely switch between the two different states.
Ooh. What buttons and prompts am I going to need for that one?
To change the recreation, select Little Thief on the bottom
Oh, hell yeah.
Now let's begin the investigation.
Cool, a little bit of Little Thief back and forth. Alright. So that's what that's going on. I guess we can take a look at the cage while it's empty.
It's the cage of the Asian elephant Astique. The elephant is performing on stage right now, so the cage is empty.
I wonder how Astique entered the courtyard.
What do you mean, how?
The entrance here is human-sized, and this fence is electrified. I don't think an elephant would enter from there.
They could just turn off the electricity.
If they did that, all the inmates would escape.
Lock them in the damn cells. I doubt anyone would escape while an elephant was entering.
I wonder how she came in. This requires some thought.
She seems to be enjoying her little brain teaser. I should just let her be.
Keep thinking. Don't sprain a brain muscle.
Oh, this crate was empty in the recreation earlier.
Oh, that's right. It was also empty in the picture I took.
I'm sorry. That information is wrong.
What do you mean?
This crate contained Astique's food. In the morning of the day of the show, all the apples were gone. I totally forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Missing apples, huh? I should make a note of that.
Who would need to eat that many apples? Strange. Okay, there's all the seats.
These chairs are lined up in an orderly fashion. I guess there were a few empty seats during the performance.
This inmate's atmosphere and the closeness between the stage and the audience, it reminds me of the karaoke tournaments I entered when I was a kid.
Karaoke tournaments?
I was the runner-up. Oh, God. Are you asking me to freaking sing? I don't... You know, the frustrating thing is that music does not translate well by just putting the music notes next to whatever the hell it is. It's kind of like, I remember they used to... Well, I'm just trying to think about this. Like, you can't really create the atmosphere of a movie experience by just playing the music over, like, a loudspeaker or something to that degree. And it's especially difficult to get the idea of music through to somebody if they're just reading. So this is jarring as all shit. Now listen to the song of real modern day... Don't tell me you actually sang that song. Of course! This song rocks!
I'm surprised she actually made it to the finals. Did she steal second place?
Yes.
No, if she didn't steal first place, she must have gotten there fair and square.
Fair enough. But also, you need to be a little bit crafty. Sometimes it's best to just, like... Actually, I'm kind of reminded of, like... Don't leave 1-star reviews on things. Leave, like, 2-star reviews. That way people actually read your review and know what you're talking about.
At this point in time, we still don't have enough information about this area.
That's right, Mr. Edgeworth. Please steal some information.
I don't steal information. I obtain it through my investigation and logic.
I prefer to act first before thinking.
You may act before thinking as long as you don't interfere with the investigation. I wouldn't want to arrest you.
Alright, so how's the little missile doing? Aw, poor buddy.
As you can see, he's totally scared, sir. I wanted him to track a scent, but it looks like that won't be possible.
Alright, well, let's take a look at the stage show, shall we? A love story between an elephant and a tiger. Oh, I really wanted to see that. I also wanted to see Simon in action.
Simon is really amazing, especially the part where he gets blown away.
Blown away. That's the scene in question.
At that point, the suspect in the role of the villain is blown away by the heroine's burning love and makes his exit. After being blown away, the suspect disappeared from the stage.
Are you saying the crime was committed during that time? Do you know how long he was gone from the stage?
Well, let me think. About 15 minutes or so.
It's just as Judge Courtney said.
But isn't it dangerous to be blown away by an elephant?
It's alright. A steak is very gentle.
That's not who we're worried about here.
During the first few practices, he was having trouble getting blown away. Then all of a sudden, he was able to be sent flying beautifully. He might be using some sort of device, but it's amazing.
A device? Do you know anything about it?
Ah, the pulley mechanism.
There we go. I have no idea. Simon handled it all by himself.
Well, the theories have started to build in my head. I think this has something to do... I think the stuff backstage here was probably set up in a way to pull him backwards. And then like a set of pulleys. Yeah, and then the weight would fall down the well. And then... Ooh. Yeah, that would explain why he would have used the well. And in that regard, if we can prove that that was exactly what happened, then maybe we could throw out this entire bit about... Yeah. Not entirely sure what button it would be to press Little Thief on the controller, but I can use my mouse. Yeah, what's up? Ah, yes. Yeah, before I do that, let me look at my logic real quick. Oh, dear God. Yep, that filled out quick. Let's see. Tools around the well. Pulleys, metal weights, and ropes. What could they be used for? Simon's stunt. That is my guess. Yep.
Mr. Keys used the device for his stunt. Maybe the tools around the well are connected to this? Kay, I'd like to recheck the tools lying around the well yesterday. Can you change the recreation to the after the show scene?
Roger. Ah, crafty.
The tools lying around the well. Could they have been a part of his device?
It seems very likely. I wonder if it's possible to recreate the device.
If you ask Mr. Keys, he should be able to tell you how the device was put together.
Alright, I'll go ask him. Let's see how quick this takes. Goodbye. Good day. Mr. Edgeworth, I asked him about it.
And did you find out how the device works?
He used a rope to hang some weights on the well's pulley. The weights were suspended inside the well. Then he ran the rope through 2 more pulleys and tied the end of the rope to his own body.
So he used the force of the falling weights to send him flying. But what's to stop the weights from falling on their own?
In order to prevent that from happening, he used a stopper.
Miss Berry didn't know anything about the well. That means Mr. Keys removed the stopper by himself?
Correct. That's why a second rope was needed. This rope was attached to the stopper, and when it was pulled from the stage...
Whoop! The stopper would be removed, and the weights would drop down the well.
So that was just like one weight, though. I mean, like, how heavy are we talking here? I doubt that this guy is 33 pounds. So I get the feeling that there was probably like several weights. I'm definitely going to steal this idea. The Yatagarasu won't lose to something like this.
Don't waste your time. Circus acts require extensive training. Even if you steal the device, it won't do you any good.
Then I'll train as well.
Before you start training, could you first update the recreation? I can't really do any of my current investigation work if you die by snapping your neck.
Yeah, oh yeah, you wanted me to recreate the device that was used in the performance. First, let's return to during the show scene. There we go. Next, I'll input the information of the device on the well. Now we can recreate the device Simon made. Ah, yes. Ah, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. I was wondering what the stake was going to be used for. It's like, did you nail something into the ground? Nope.
So this is the device that Mr. Keys used.
So in theory, does this mean that there's a whole bunch of weights just sitting at the bottom of the well? And now somebody's got to go and, like, pick them up? Simon sure is gutsier than he looks. Using the fallen weights as the force to launch himself during his performance.
Indeed, he would have to drop enough weights to exceed his own body weight in order to provide the strength needed to pull him off the stage.
That's what I was thinking. Simon must have practiced a lot for this. So how many weights would be down there? Because technically speaking, could we make a case that since there's a whole, like, buttload of weights on the bottom of this thing, could that mean that nobody at all could have used that that tunnel system at all during the murder? I wonder. Let's see. Star of the show, along with Regent the Tiger Simon. Astique's feed was there the day before the show, was gone the next morning. Metal weights placed near the well. Each one weighs 33 pounds. In order for the stunt to work, the weights must exceed Simon's weight. I don't know if, like, these things particularly fit together, but you can start making some assumptions that there were multiple weights that were used in the performance. Let's see what this does. Yep, there we go. Huh? Isn't this strange?
What's wrong, pal? Haven't you noticed, Detective? What's strange about the weight is...
The weight? The number. The material. Okay. I'd have to say the number of the weight.
What's strange is the number of weights. In other words, it's not heavy enough. In order to pull up Mr. Keys' body weight...
You're right, sir.
But where did the rest of the weights disappear to?
Looks like it's time to use my 7 secret weapons, sir.
If necessary, I'll let the detective know.
Ah, okay. So now we need to talk to Gumshoe and get him, like, maybe like a metal detector going. Mr. Edgeworth, you got that look on your face, like you want to use my secret weapon, sir. Missile isn't in the... Missile isn't in the mood, but I've got my fishing rod ready to go. Or would you prefer the metal detector? I've never seen the detective's eyes sparkle like that. If need be, I'll let you know. For now, just stand by. I feel like I know what's happening here. In order to lift Simon's body, more weights are required. Let's use a metal detector to find it. Detective Gumshoe, it's time for your secret weapon. Yes, sir! Oh yeah, that's gonna snap in half if you try to grab a metal weight that's 33 pounds. I was hoping for the metal detector. I don't get many chances to use this one. Before we begin the search, let me go over how to use the metal detector, sir. This metal detector uses sound. And this meter is going off the charts. Holy shit! Are we at one of the poles of the Earth? Holy hell. To let you know how close you are to the metal object. When you get closer to the metal object, the metal detector will have a bigger reaction, like this. When you get the biggest reaction, give me the order to examine that spot, sir. Now let's see what we got. Hey, it's just a metal fence. And that's basically how you search for metal objects. Just give me the instructions on where you want to search, sir. Walk directly into the gators. Yeah, there's a reaction here too, sir. Yeah, let's check it out. I found these in the clumps of grass here. These are the weights used for that hoisting device. Were these intentionally hidden? There's 4 of them in all, sir.
That many weights would be enough to lift Simon.
So the other weights that were used in the device were hidden. Why were they hidden over here, though?
Good question. Damn it, I kind of wish I could have looked around a little bit more with the detector, but... See, I'm really earning my keep today, aren't I, sir? Oh god, run.
Yeah, the alligator!
That scared me, pal. What's the matter, detective? Looks like the metal detector's reacting to this alligator. What? Are we gonna have like a, you know, alligator ate my golf ball kind of situation? Really? Why? Are you sure it isn't still just reacting to the weights? It's a different reaction, sir. And it's definitely coming from the alligator.
Weird.
It's gone.
Ha 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 ha. Looks like it's scared of us. I don't think so, Kay.
Huh?
If anything, I think Allie looks a little under the weather.
Allie.
I suppose that was what Warden Roland called him.
She didn't eat any of the food that the warden gave her yesterday. I think she might have eaten something bad.
So I guess the metal detector could be reacting to whatever the alligator ate.
Oh, maybe she ate one of the weights.
Good God, how? I doubt that even an alligator can ingest a 33-pound weight.
But what could the metal detector be reacting to?
A murder weapon? Maybe? Oh, God. If it was a particularly sharp murder weapon, rest in peace, alligator.
And regardless, why were these weights hidden? Maybe we should take another look at the device on the well.
Kay, I'd like you to recreate the after the show scene again. Alright, leave it to me. Beep, bop, boop. Future! Alright. So one weight was not used. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Right? So I can deduce something. Let me look at the well.
The well was behind the stage. That means
Only a few people would have access to dump the body in the well during the performance.
this isn't looking good for Mr. Keys.
So I need to look at something. Oh, hey. Maybe something to do with the pulley.
This pulley was used to lift the bucket from the well. The bucket can't be found.
So if I were to... Sorry. Trying to get used to, like, the controls here. I believe this... There, that is deduce. Somehow connected to any of the evidence. Let me take a gander at what I got, because that might... There might be something here. Setup for the big show uses 3 pulleys, 2 ropes, the well, and some weights. Actually, I don't know if... Let me see. 2 ropes. Ah, hey. I think I know what they want me to do here. I'm gonna go ahead and deduce this. This is very strange because, well, I can't really tell 100% just by looking at it. But it looks to me like there's only 1 rope here. And we have all of the weights. And that 1 rope, and what appears to be a bucket of some kind, is not... Well, it doesn't really mention a bucket here, but I feel like a bucket would work really well for the weights.
This recreation in the device we saw earlier, there is a major discrepancy. One of the ropes is missing.
You're right!
Without it, the device won't work.
I wonder what happened to it.
Where did the missing rope disappear to? I can take a guess. It's possible that we hold the piece of evidence that shows where the rope went.
Which piece of evidence shows where the missing rope went? Oh, hey! The fuck?
The rope we found with the dead body!
Oh! Shock! Could it be?
Yes, it could be the other piece of rope that was used here.
Then, does that mean...
This rope was attached to the weights.
Wait a minute. Okay, it needed something heavy enough to be able to fly him backwards. And the body was roped up and covered in cloth. Oh dear God.
However, the weight was not one of these metal weights. These weights were hidden in the grass and replaced with something extra.
If they were replaced, then what was used as the weight?
What was tied to the rope we found in the workroom? If we can recall that, then the answer should be clear.
Oh, it's super clear.
The weight that was dropped in place of the weights that Mr. Key had prepared was,
Would that... Wait. Would that work? I know exactly what's going on here, but, yeah. This seems like this is right.
What dropped down the well was none other than Knightley's dead body.
Mr. Knightley's body was used as the weight?
Yes, the weights were replaced with Knightley's body. Mr. Keys used the device to launch himself off the stage. When the rope that was tied to him was undone and let go, both the body and the rope dropped down the well.
Boy. Well, in theory, he was already dead. But I don't know how much more of a fall that was. I don't think it's very intensive, but...
The rope wasn't used to tie up Knightley, it was used to suspend him inside the well. That also explains why the other weights were hidden.
So that no one would find out that the weights were replaced with the body.
Yes, the killer was the one who hid those weights.
But, Miles, wasn't Knightley boy stabbed in the neck with the meta weapon? If he was suspended in the well, wouldn't there be blood at the bottom of the well?
The killer was also aware of that. That's why they used this item.
He went ahead and bundled the hell out of him.
The sheet we found near the body. It was used to wrap up the body.
Yeah, I see. Looks like all the pieces are starting to come together, eh? But this means that the body definitely came from the well. If that's the case, wouldn't that mean Simon is the killer?
Not necessarily, because in theory, depending on what time this happened, this could have been sabotaged at any time.
No, that's not necessarily the case.
But yesterday, Judge Courtney said...
If Mr. Keyes was the killer, would he have needed to set up such an elaborate device?
I guess you have a point.
Mr. Keyes was only responsible for dropping the body during the show. In other words, it doesn't matter where the real killer was or what they were doing during the show. Until now, this placed the doubt on the people who did not watch the animal show.
It's true. We also suspected Mr. Dogan.
The killer's true intent was to make us think that the murder occurred during the show. In other words, they used the device on the well to create a fake alibi. Miss Berry, do you know when this device was on the well was set up?
Let me think. The day before the show. I think it was at night. We all started preparing at 9 p.m.
Done. I do love it. Okay, seriously, I remember the original autopsy reports for the game were being so specific. And if you remember, we do have an autopsy report sitting right the hell here. Did we seriously not get the autopsy report part about when the body died? I don't know, I feel like that's a spot that is conveniently missing from a lot of these games.
We finished it around midnight.
The killer replaced the weights with the dead body afterwards.
So sometime after midnight, killer came in and replaced weights. Oh dear.
Did Dogan know about the device? No, even if he knew about the device, it wouldn't be possible for him to use it. You can't teach a dog to suspend a body in the well. In other words, Dogan is not the killer.
We'll see. We will certainly see. So that information. Am I supposed to connect the next little bits of logic here? Let's see. Weights switched with body. The device was set up with the body on the night before the show. Astique the elephant. Missing apples. Astique's feed was there the day before the show. Was gone the next morning. Very strange. Star of the show. Along with our tiger. Because I know I probably need to connect a couple of things here. Either that or I need to go and take a look at some other pieces of the environment, perhaps. Is this thing over and done with? I assume so. Yep. Nope, done with you. Let's see. Yep, empty. So, where the heck would the yeah, where? I'm trying to figure out, like, where the apples would have been. Unless the gator ate a shitload of apples. Maybe that's what happened. You know, I'm gonna try and connect these two. I'm not really entirely sure how or why. Oh, hey! Okay.
The apples in the crate were probably eaten by Astique.
But it's strange. I remember leaving the crate out of reach from Astique's nose.
Are you certain?
Yes, the crate was still full of apples on the night before the show.
Then the cart was moved to where her nose could reach it. With that many apples, it could not have been moved by the wind. Most likely, the crate was moved by a person. Prior to the show, the cart's position was already changed and the apples were all eaten. This appears to be the correct information. Please update the simulation parameters, K.
Alright, I'll use the new info to recreate the scene. First, let's return to the during the show scene. Using the info we got from Regina, I will recreate the scene with the cart in its actual place. Recreation complete. Alright, so that's all well and done now. No wonder I thought it smelled like animals. It contained the elephant's food.
So this was filled with Astique's apples. That's right! On the day before the show, it was full of apples!
And in the morning, they were all gone.
Oh, did you think of something?
You could say that. Okay, is that everything here? Somebody moved the crate of apples on the night before the show. The device was set up with the body the night before. Okay. Both of these are directly saying before the show, stuff was going down. So clearly somebody jumped in the dead of night and screwed with things. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Yes! This cot was moved the night before the show. The body was also switched the night before the show.
I don't think it was just a coincidence.
Keeping that in mind, the question now becomes, why was the cot moved? The cot used to be in front of that door. I can think of one reason why. Somebody open that door! Alright, let's hurry up and... The door's locked! Well, let's ask a guard. Hey, Master Guard! What is this? What is this ridiculous cyberpunk mumbo-jumbo you guys are doing? That's kind of what I expected to see here. No, apparently he's cool with it. That was fast. You there? Where's the key to this door? The one's in charge of it. I'll get it from her right away. The warden's in charge of the key here? Without the warden's permission, the door can't be opened. Interesting. Thank you very much. Ooh, breaker room. Neat. It's a circuit breaker panel. This must be the breaker room. On the night before the show, somebody came into this room. I wonder why they would come here. I don't think anyone would confuse the breaker room with the break room. It was definitely to operate the circuit breakers. So someone came here to shut off the power to something. Was there anything that had its power shut off? What could have had its power shut off by the breaker? Oh, weird. Okay. Well, perhaps one thing that's kinda going off in my mind right now, something to do with the security gates. If this had been powered off, it would have caused a huge problem. A huge problem? I don't see any problems. It's a security gate, madam. Cast aside your preconceptions. Try thinking with an open mind. In doing so, you will see an answer that exceeds your wildest imagination. I'm not seeing anything at all. Oh, shit. It seems I was mistaken. Shit. Okay. When the breaker tripped, the electrical equipment would have lost power. Is there any evidence that can prove this? Okay, does it have something to do with the... Oh. Ooh, the door sensors. Oh, son of a bitch. There's a lot of stuff that's running on electricity. For fuck's sake. Okay, I don't think it would have been the, These things are not connected to the electrical grid via some kind of... You know, we don't have, like, Tesla-level wireless power in this universe, so... Chessboard. Yeah. Oh, hey, maybe the security footage would have been cut off. Oh, well, oh yeah, that's right, because there's like this really weird gap. Yeah, timestamp is off by 3 hours. That explains it. Herps. The security camera footage had a 3-hour gap. Oh, I see. Circuit breaker for the security camera was tripped. It's highly possible. Was this the killer's handiwork? With the camera down, it'd be easier to move about. The killer would have a major advantage. I knew it!
If that's the case, the killer was the person who tripped the breaker. The person in charge of the key to the breaker room is... It couldn't be.
It might. Deactivating the recreation. Sounds a little bit less like a home and a little bit more like a hopeless nightmare. Howdy, we got stuff to talk about.
I'm first to the scene, as always.
No, you're not. We showed up.
Good morning, Mr. DeBest.
What? You... How did you get here before me? Greetings, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I see you have arrived early.
Or maybe it is you who are late, Judge Courtney.
I have many matters which require my attention. I have no time to waste. Unlike a certain prosecutor who was taken off the case.
Shut your face. Grr.
Oh, my apologies. I had forgotten that you were assisting the defense attorney. An assistant can never be the best. You've fallen like the rest.
You just say whatever you like, don't you?
What was your first hint?
Let us begin our examination of the courtyard, Sebastian. All right, I'll call the men over.
That will be unnecessary.
What?
We have already finished the investigation of the courtyard. Clearly, your men can't do anything because we got here first. Nah.
That's not how this works.
You've been bested.
Bested? Me?
Judge Courtney. Your reasoning from yesterday, watch me shatter it to pieces.
I would advise you to choose your words more carefully. Have you forgotten that the fate of your badge rests in my hands?
Nope, smug as always.
I have had enough of such coercion. Can't you think of some other way to threaten me that does not involve my badge?
Despite my repeated warnings, you show no sign of reflection. Seems I must remind you once more. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee can't leave someone such as yourself unchecked.
Neither the fate of my badge nor the actions of the committee will impede my progress. Proving Mr. Key's innocence. That is all that concerns me.
Your words are like those of a defense attorney. If you're willing to go that far, then I will show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor.
Well, I guess it would be really, really nice if he became a defense attorney, like his dear old dad. So, what do we lose in this scenario?
You shall regret this. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Albert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect.
Naturally, you have evidence to support your reasoning.
Of course she does! Who do you think she is? Earlier, I received the official autopsy report.
Babysitting that kid must be difficult.
The time of death was the night before the body was discovered. Well, there we go. In other words, the day before the show. The cause of death remains unchanged. A stab wound 4 inches deep.
I guess we need to somehow make proof that it couldn't, and couldn't, wouldn't, and probably wasn't. My client. That being said, how do you pin it on somebody else? I don't know.
Simon Keyes was not present on the stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well.
She has not investigated the courtyard yet. That means... Seems there is a hole in your argument.
You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim?
Of course I can. And I will.
I think we got this. That said, again, let's just go ahead and keep healthy habits healthy and save. Because who knows, I might be entirely wrong. And part 2. I have a hard time being able to see her being able to pull some bullshit out of this one.
I shared my reasoning with you the day before.
So you continue to believe Mr. Keyes is the murderer?
Just as you continue to speak as if he is not. Do you have any decisive evidence? Do you know the identity of the true criminal?
You do realize you need proper evidence, too.
I am a representative of the goddess of law. My words are her holy orders.
Well, you can do nothing but spout bullshit all day and it just counts? I don't think so.
Indeed, if I state something is black, it is black. If I state something is white, it is white.
So what would you call gray?
If you wish to disprove my words, then present your evidence at once. Since Mr. Elbert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel,
couldn't it be possible that Elbert just failed to notice the
How do you fail to notice a dead body?
How wide are these frickin' tunnels? And how dark?
Miss Assistant's assistant, did you also enter the hole?
How'd you know?
I noticed that there was some mud stuck on your lovely hair ornament yesterday.
That's amazing! Your powers of observation would even put a great thief to shame.
In the name of the goddess of law, answer me truthfully. If there were a dead body in that tunnel, would it not have escaped your notice?
Would it have escaped your notice, rather?
Well, the thing is, yeah, I think I would have noticed something like that. Do you understand now? Mr. Albert did not see the body. It could only have been dropped down the well during the show.
The body was dropped down the well during the show? I'd like to hear your reasoning for this.
The day before the show, Mr. Albert lent the key to Mr. Knightley.
The key to Knightley's cell, huh?
Mr. Knightley escaped from his cell with the key and entered the cage Mr. Keyes had prepared. Mr. Keyes then moved the cage to the courtyard and proceeded to murder Mr. Knightley. The next day, when Mr. Albert passed through the tunnel, he did not come across the body.
Please, wait a minute. That doesn't seem right at all. Wasn't there a sweet smell in the tunnel? Mr. Knightley must have passed through it.
Mr. Knightley passed through the tunnel after Mr. Albert did. Mr. Albert passed through the tunnel at the start of the show. However, the body wasn't found until the end of the show.
Which is why you believe the body was dropped during the show.
Yes, and there is only one person who could have carried out this act. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect.
There's no one else who could have committed the murder?
I heard that Miss Barry was present on stage at all times. A great number of the prisoners were also watching the show. Even the prisoners who did not see it have sufficient alibis.
How about the guards?
Along with the warden, nearly everyone was watching the show.
But there must have been a chance for even one of them to approach the well.
During the show, none of the guards left their posts. That much is certain. They all testified as such.
She's left no room for oversight.
Do you finally admit that only Simon Keyes could have been the criminal?
Judge Courtney has not thoroughly examined the courtyard like we have.
So there's a bit of a gap in here, in her argument, right?
I should review the evidence we obtained in the courtyard. Yep.
So nothing was expanded at all. So what we're trying to prove here. Shared my reasoning day before. Since Mr. Albert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, It could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. So what we're trying to prove here is not necessarily that, you know, the timing would have been perfect, and it would have been perfect on the show. It had to have happened during the show. So all that stuff before, don't need to pay attention. So actually, I think it might be the final statement. Oh, shit. Damn interface. Again, this is conjecture. And this is just talking about that stuff in the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. And now we need to present evidence against that theory. And it probably has to do with something that we have recently learned. It probably has to do with Simon's device. Simon used this for the big stunt during the show. Someone switched the weights with the body. Gotcha. Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. There was a device set up around the well here.
What is this device of which you speak?
Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keys is blown away by the elephant during the show?
I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage.
He tried one... Wait, fuck. He tied one end of the length of rope to himself, and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well.
Wouldn't he have spent the whole play suspended up in the air?
That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted ends. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them. So many of these cases in, like, Ace Attorney games are so hackneyed, but unfortunately turn out to be true. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early mornings of the show. The true criminal had until the time the show started to set up the device.
But didn't Simon Keys make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree?
If Mr. Keys were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Berry?
Yes?
Was there anyone else who knew of the device he set up?
Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it.
And there you have it.
I see. You have indeed performed a thorough investigation, which is why I am even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice?
My actions are not just. Who made that decision?
You cannot understand even that, even now. Providing support to a defense attorney, despite being a prosecutor. It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules.
I am merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy.
Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keys of murder.
I don't like this drive-through type of, judgment sort of setup here.
If the body came from the courtyard, how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keys could have provided such an opportunity. Because of this fact, I find it most difficult to suspect any other party of this crime.
Is this about the security footage? It might be.
While Simon Keyes was moving supplies for the show, he visited Mr. Knightley's cell. Does that not strike you as odd? Why else would he have brought a large covered cage with him? Oh, that does seem pretty suspicious.
Mr. Keyes was merely that kind of person. It is entirely possible that he carelessly brought it here.
If that is possible, then it is also possible that he was assisting in the escape. Am I wrong?
I suppose I must refute her theory with evidence.
Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and save the things. I'd say I'm doing fine. All right, from the save point. Body came from the courtyard. I don't even know why I'm just pressing on everything because, you know, that's how I usually do this.
You seem to believe that Knightley was killed in the courtyard. So, can you say when he was brought here?
On the day of the show, between midnight and 8 a.m. I am positive it could only have been during that time.
So, after rehearsal had ended and before the show began.
The most pressing issue is... how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center?
Are you certain there were no other routes?
A trial date had not yet been determined for Mr. Knightley. Since he was not a prisoner, he could not have easily entered the prison. He would have stood out too much.
Meaning no one testified seeing him there?
Well done. May you be blessed by the goddess of law.
Please bless me. You haven't been giving me much of anything else aside from that. Well, I suppose you're not really the goddess of law. You have control over her, though. Sort of.
As I said, Mr. Knightley was taken into the prison through a less conspicuous manner. Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity.
Are you certain that he was the only person who had the opportunity?
Have you forgotten? This is a prison. Due to the constant supervision, it would be impossible to do anything unusual.
Then, wouldn't it be the same for Mr. Keyes?
The warden has shown favor to the Berry Big Circus. Simon Keyes is a circus member, Miss Berry's apprentice no less. It could only have been him. He was able to move about freely within the facility.
It seems that you forgot to mention that.
The word forget does not exist in my dictionary.
Then it would be prudent for you to add this to your argument. Mr. Keyes may have been the only person who could move around freely in the prison. But on the day of the murder, there was a gap in time missing from the surveillance records. During that time, anyone could have done as they pleased.
Do I have proof of the gap in the surveillance records? Well, do we have... Yep. Well, a proof of the gap in the surveillance records. I think... Alright, this is confusing. Because, I mean, literally, the proof of the gap in the surveillance records is literally within the security footage itself. Which says, timestamp is off by 3 hours. I feel like I'm not supposed to... I don't think I'm supposed to be throwing out the circuits just yet.
Mr. Keyes wasn't the only one who had the opportunity.
Who else could have had the opportunity?
The timestamp on the security camera is off by 3 hours. This means there was a 3-hour gap in time. During that time, anyone could have done it.
If that were the case, then the murderer would have created the gap in time intentionally. It would not have been a simple camera failure. Are you saying that is possible?
Yes. It's possible if you had access to this. In this courtyard, we found the circuit breaker for the security camera, and it was possible to access the breaker room both before and after the murder.
What?
Unfortunately, it appears that you have fallen short of your intentions.
Mr. Edgeworth hasn't fallen short of anything.
So, can you explain how the murderer obtained the key to the breaker room?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was locked, wasn't it?
The warden hangs on to the key, right? The breaker room has great importance, even in a prison. There is no one who would be able to obtain the key so easily.
And that, in turn, is the problem. Well, I can think of someone.
What did you say?
This person, the murderer, was able to get the key. They didn't even need to steal it. There can't be anyone like that! Besides, the breaker to the electrified fence is in that room too! Only one person could have done this. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I trust that my logic is sound. The person who used the key to enter the breaker room is... Oh, dear. Warden! The murderer is... Oh, howdy, madam. Good for you to show up. Warden Roland!
Oh my, what an energetic little puppy.
That's because this dog is extremely fond of sweets. It seems to detect a sweet scent on you.
Oh, heavens no. I'm not even wearing perfume or anything of the sort.
What the dog detects is the sweet scent of death.
How poetic. However, does that not imply that I committed a murder?
Yeah, that's what I think.
What? The warden is the murderer? Mr. Edgeworth, are you serious about your statement?
Oh, how amusing. The very thought of a warden committing a murder. Sounds like something out of a mystery novel.
Precisely. Your reasoning is in contempt.
Nothing of the sort. I did not want to believe it myself, but based on the evidence, I have no choice but to believe it. This evidence proves that Warden Roland is the murderer. And hilariously enough... where was that located? Let me see. Autopsy. Which thing was the apple? Okay, I'm trying to remember specifically what we're trying to figure out. Because weren't we talking about, like, at apple crates at one point? There's Doggin's bell. I guess I'll present the circuit breaker again. This proves to the... I feel like this didn't work. Treating me like a criminal just because of that is so cruel. That doesn't even have anything to do with me. Yo! That wasn't it. Missile's reaction to... Oh, right. The sweets thing.
I suppose your accusation was nothing more than a joke in poor taste after all.
No, it was not, Warden Roland. You are the murderer.
Then why don't you show us the evidence?
This evidence proves that Warden Roland is the murderer. Okay. The sweet scent.
What specifically is the sweet scent referring? Let me see.
Nope. I'm trying to remember what part of the evidence specifically talked about a sweet scent. No. In-person investigation. Nothing about that. I mean, it might... I think it's something like really early on with the evidence previously. Door, chessboard. Maybe it's the crime scene notes. Yeah. The smell gave you away. As you can plainly see, someone has taken notice.
This police dog?
He tracked a sweet smell that came from the body. And right now, he's telling us that the same scent is also on Warden Roland.
You're a cruel one to accuse me of a murder based on something like that. Right, Justine, darling?
It appears that Judge Courtney has reached the same conclusion as I have.
Mr. Edgeworth, this couldn't have been just a coincidence, could it?
The key to the breaker room and the same scent on the body. If it were only one, it could have been seen as such.
It appears we have reached a conclusion. We should now listen to what the warden has to say.
Indeed! Until we do, we cannot close this case.
Oh my goodness. Everyone with such scary faces. So I'm the only one who could have been the murderer? That just cannot be.
Well, explain why that is, madam. Harlot!
I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you'd like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. I don't know what reasoning you had, but I can say for sure. I cannot be the killer.
But Missile barked at you, pal. You gotta be the culprit.
It's a dog.
Oh, heavens, it's not possible. I already told you, I never went to the prison. If you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records?
She wants us to check the records. She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information.
I do hope you'll understand, Mr. Edgeworth.
The records have probably been forged. Fuck. Alright. So, saving times. I did have an interesting suspicion about her. Like, the entire time being so secretive and not allowing us to go into any kind of offices. Outwardly attempting to try and show off that she was, receptive and loving of every person. So the question is, why would he want him dead? No idea. That'll probably come to light at some point.
Heard all about the case from Justine Darling here.
From Judge Courtney? You two close?
As close as fish in water. Are you jealous?
No. Jealous?
On the first day of the investigation, she filled us in on the situation. In exchange for our cooperation, she explained the details of the case to us.
How could you say that? You're so mean, Justine Darling.
The truth is the truth. I believe it should be told as such.
For some reason, these two seem kind of sisterly.
Oh, scary. Okay, that works.
The sisterhood of the traveling foxes. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell.
The murder occurred inside the cell? How can you be so certain about that?
Well, everywhere else would be under surveillance, right? And the victim's blood was found there too.
That blood was actually from when he was struck by Elbert, but I don't think it's necessary to inform her of this fact. That doesn't mean it's proven. You do know that.
But I see no contradictions in assuming the crime scene was at the detention center. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison.
You never went into the prison? Do you have proof of this?
My. Can't you wait for me to finish? I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office.
Really?
You were in your office the whole time? Nothing strange happened?
Nope, nothing at all.
Were you looking for something?
I'm no good at tidying up. I always forget where I put everything. The other day, I even lost track of an important piece of evidence.
How could you have made such a grave error?
It's women like her that ends up making it 12 times harder for the people up above.
That being me?
If someone were to take something from me, I wouldn't even notice it the entire year.
I guess it will be hard to attack with the key to the breaker room.
On the day of the incident, I was working in my office and searching for lost items.
In other words, I couldn't have gone to the prison even if I had wanted to.
Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison.
If you didn't put the record down, you did not enter the prison from the entrance. But what if there was another route?
Oh my. Are you suggesting something like a secret passage? I don't know if anything like that exists.
It is my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither the entrance nor a secret passage. Oh boy, this is the answer, I guess. The route you used was from here. Okay, well, this is the courtyard and this is the warden's office. So my guess is that the route you used was from the window? How the hell would you do that? I'm not entirely sure if, like, this is proper, but I'm gonna see. The barbed wire fence? Oh, did I not choose it right, but I chose it right somehow? You would have moved nightly to our office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you had moved through here and past the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance of a tunnel.
I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed? There's a high voltage current running through the fence. Yeah, obviously, she couldn't have passed through it like that.
The current to the fence could be switched off at the breaker room. And you were the only one who had the key, Warden Roland.
Most amusing. However, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. How would the warden have accessed it from the detention center? Ah, quite right. Gotcha there, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, screw you. That's...
If there's no record of her passing through the prior entrance, it would not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker.
Yeah, but Warden Roland was the only one who had access...
Don't let this faze you, Miles.
But if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away.
Now, Uncle Ray never said, don't think, you know. It's just not good to be so stubborn about it, that's all.
But no matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you have failed to come up with a I am not amused, interrupting my judgment only to be silent.
Without thinking, I just blurted out objection. I'm becoming him. I have to answer. I won't let this end here. My reasoning is not over yet.
So, how did she use the breaker without leaving the detention center?
It's perfectly possible. With this method...
What made it possible to turn off the breaker? Her position as the warden. She had an accomplice. Timing. I believe an accomplice.
I mean, I think the game literally just said that, except not 100% in that word. It was indeed impossible for one person, but what if there were two?
Exactly! Just what I expected from you, Miles.
Yes, you had an accomplice on the prison side.
Enough. I am disappointed in you, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
What's that, pal? You making fun of Mr. Edgeworth?
The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets. If they try and go where they please, they will set off the alarm. So you've noticed, this is a prison after all. Not only the prisoners, but the guards too, are under constant scrutiny.
So why didn't anyone notice Elbert?
The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker.
But it's still possible that a person did it.
Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was?
We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movement was not restricted. This evidence shows that there was someone in the prison who could move around freely.
Oh, this is getting juicy.
That is... It looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners.
This belongs to a certain model inmate, and it's broken.
What? Just who on earth does this belong to?
Pinned him again. Frank Sawit, the warden's favorite inmate. Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep this hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life.
Golly, when you think about it, shouldn't be possible. Boy, sweating bullets, I see.
I'd hazard a guess that this was because he was a special case. Just like Sirhan Dogan in this special cell.
The prosecutor's statement is mere conjecture.
You could find out by simply asking Sawit himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Sawit and Warden Roland were partners in crime. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. The real route by which Knightley's body was moved to this prison. To the prison, rather. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. The security camera in front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke, by having Sawit switch off the breakers in the breaker room.
Somebody fingerprint those breakers.
Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment?
Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland?
I give in. I confess. Warden Roland, no, this cannot be. Yes, it's just as he was said. Frank Sawit and I were partners in crime.
No way! You did it, Mr. Edgeworth! Well done, Miles. At last we have the real culprit cornered.
Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker, but we were not responsible for Knightley's murder.
What?
Warden Roland, whatever do you mean? Judge Courtney, will the goddess of law hear my confession? The goddess of law is merciful. She will absolve you.
Bull crap. I was being threatened.
That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told.
So, who was threatening you?
Sirhan Dogan, that assassin.
Dogan?
It's been going on since that man came to the prison. I will never forget that day.
Oh, goody goody gumdrops.
When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me,
I have many dogs outside the prison.
Dogs?
Loyal dogs who obey my every command.
I soon realized that what Dogan referred to was not really dogs, but his human henchmen. And that's not all he said.
You better watch how you treat me, if you don't want you and your family to become dog food.
I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired.
Anything he desired. You don't mean the supplier?
That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges with the prison. And these underground dealings. Once a week in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers. So I could move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security camera. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it.
So that's the true identity of the sweet scent.
The scent of perfume was a signal for Duggan's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Duggan. Of course, this had to be done while Albert was away from his cell.
I'm surprised he never found out about it, pal.
We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Mealtime, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Duggan's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise.
So having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself. This would have ensured there were no slip-ups.
Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early mornings, and the delivery was complete. And then modify the timestamp on the security camera. You have told us a great deal. The Goddess of Law accepts your pertinent confession. You're under arrest, madam. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. It seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. But that day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all.
The secret of the supply system. So then Warden Roland was...
The police have been searching for Duggan's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... No matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him.
So the reason you kept on interrogating him...
Yes, it was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the interrogation myself. I kept an eye on all his actions and examined all of his mail.
Mail? Like his correspondence chest letter?
But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchmen. This fear, it's something you could never understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right? I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicions. Is it really necessary to press her further than this?
Is it necessary to press her further?
I would say yes. In fact, we're on the second chapter. I don't think they would throw a landmine in. But, just to be safe. I say sure.
Judge Courtney, my questioning isn't over yet. I'm sure the Goddess of Law isn't satisfied yet either.
You mean to badger this woman further?
Even if she was threatened by Dogan, this does not prove she was not the culprit in this case. She was able to use the supply route to transport Knightley's body.
Do you have any evidence to support this?
The body gave off a sweet scent. The scent of perfume that was used to signify a delivery. Can you explain this fact?
Oh, of course. Since I'd made so many deliveries, the scent would have lingered around the well. When the body was moved to the well, the scent would have transferred to it. Mr. Albert also testified to this fact.
That's it. For some reason, the well gave off a nice scent.
A nice scent?
I don't know what it was, but it smelled sweet, like candy.
The lingering scent in the well would, of course, be picked up by anything passing through. The defense rests, I see. In that case, court is adjourned.
Mr. Edgeworth, is there anything we can do? What should I do? Is this as far as I can go?
Is it over already? Yes, Sebastian, it is. Put that down. And now, court is officially adjourned. Is it? No. Who was that? Hey! It's not nice of you to adjourn things just like that, Cotty Pie.
Mr. Shields!
Are you objecting to the court adjourning? Of course not. I ain't got no objection or anything like that. Go ahead and adjourn in court. Hey, do whatever you like. Hey, what are you doing, Mr. Shields? Whoa there, calm down, Kate. Who wants some chocolate? Is this a joke? You'll have to excuse me. I just have one tiny request to make. As Simon Keyes' attorney.
That's right. You're the defense attorney in charge of the case, aren't you?
Exactly. Did you all forget? That's so mean. But you just left everything to Mr. Edgeworth and didn't do anything at all. Yes, that's right. That's why I thought I'd do my job a bit.
Do your job? That hardly sounds like you at all.
It's to prepare for the trial. I'd like to ask the warden a few questions.
Surely you jest. What more would you expect to hear from her?
Well, Miss Warden, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the culprit.
My thoughts?
Uncle Ray believes that Simon is not the culprit. Seems that Miss Warden also suspects someone other than Simon. I'd like to hear you out.
Mr. Edgeworth, what's Mr. Shields up to?
Good question.
He's trying to lure Warden Roland into testifying. Why was the supply route used to transport the body? I'd say it was to pin the crime on Dogan.
Ah, I see.
If he committed the murder here, he would be transferred to another prison. One with tighter security.
That would get rid of the troublemaker.
Exactly. She wouldn't pass up a chance like that.
Hey, hold on a sec! A culprit besides Simon? What do you mean? Simon was the one I was supposed to prosecute!
Exactly, so wouldn't it be better if the best also listened to what she has to say? Amazing, Mr. Shields! You managed to drag Mr. DeBest into this too!
Warden Roland, is this acceptable?
She doesn't look happy about it.
Oh, it's fine, it's fine. You understand the woman's heart.
Thank you, mademoiselle.
Actually, I have thought this over. I'd like to tell you my thoughts. You'll let me speak, won't you, Justine, darling? Of course, you may speak.
Mr. Shields, awesome! That was a close shave.
Thank you, Mr. Shields.
No, I'm still leaving the rest of you. Remember what I said? A defense attorney never gives up. The fate of our client rests on our shoulders, after all. It'd be uncool if Uncle Ray didn't put that into practice. Now then, Miles, it's your turn to show you'll never give up.
Right.
Well then, will you listen to my story? Woof! Her story. I believe that the culprit in this case could only have been Dogan. I have no idea what transpired between Dogan and the victim. It simply could have been that Dogan was displeased with him. In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. He probably had a dog dispose of the body. This is the truth of the case. The victim, Mr. Knightley, was it? I think it is a truly terrifying thing.
Taking a man's life, you mean?
That's how you go about saying it, isn't it? If only I had been more vigilant, his death would not have happened. That's why I want to clear up his regrets.
Warden Roland, how considerate.
Shut your face.
I'm sure Mr. Knightley in heaven is overflowing with gratitude.
He's in heaven, and he wants to stomp everyone. Or shoot them. Actually, now that I think about it, Knightley would want to shoot everyone. There we go.
Is gratitude really what Knightley feels?
I believe that the culprit in this case, here. I've got a lot of health, and I haven't run into a situation where it's like a grandiose nonsense amount of failures. But one of these days it's gonna happen. And I'd rather not have it take me by surprise. I believe that the culprit in this case could have only been Dogan.
You seem very confident of that. How can you be so sure?
The children of this home are all good little boys and girls. Believe in yourself, believe in your friends, and believe in me and the guards. There's no way any of these hard-working children could have committed a murder.
Quite an emotional reason. Makes sense coming from someone like her.
Only Doggin would be capable of something like that. Oh. How dare you use your fox to hide your true feelings? I have no idea what transpired between Doggin and the victim.
Knightley was being held in the detention center and Doggin was in the prison. They couldn't make any contact. Don't you think that would have prevented trouble?
The person is quite confined, right? There are many ways for him to meet.
Knightley was murdered days before he would have been sentenced to prison. Surely there weren't many ways a meeting could have occurred.
Even without a direct meeting, Doggin can still cause trouble. Mark my words. It simply could have been that Doggin was displeased with him.
What could Knightley have done in the detention center to displease him?
That was just an example. You don't have to take it so seriously. Didn't I already say that I have no idea what transpired between them? Nevertheless, you certainly are a serious one, Edgeworth there.
What's this? That piercing gaze.
Always standing straight and stiff. Very nice. Looking very clever, my dear. I think I'm about to become your biggest fan. Don't you dare.
No.
Mr. Edgeworth, stay focused. It's just a flesh wound.
Right. Is this some form of psychological warfare?
I don't need another guard to be horning in on me. Though, to be fair, you're much younger than the other one. In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death.
I'd like to hear your thoughts about the circumstances surrounding the murder.
Well, I suppose it was a simple job. During his booking, I learned that the victim had some kind of injury to his neck. He couldn't turn his neck to the right. I remember him saying something like that.
Booking. That's the process one undergoes before being locked up in the detention center. It sounds like you don't really know a lot about Knightley.
I only know a little. In any case, he would have been an easy target for Doggin. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. The victim wouldn't even have a chance to scream.
I see. Your opinion will be a very valuable reference. Could you add those last statements to your testimony?
Aw, you're making me blush. You're so cute. No. Don't do the thing. I'm just kidding. I'll continue. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. That's very interesting that she brings that up.
The chessboard?
The thing that the victim brought with him. Seemed like he really enjoyed playing chess. How could I have guessed that chisel would be hidden inside it?
The chisel in the chessboard. That fact is only known by a select few people. This was the answer we arrived at from our reasoning, after all. So then, why does she know about this?
In Doggin's hands, even a chisel is enough to be used as a lethal weapon. I'm sure it would have been a simple job. Great job.
You certainly seem to hold strong feelings towards Doggin.
That's just natural. Remember my interrogations. That man, no matter how much evidence we find, he's still as slippery as a snake. You really got a lot of guts. That smug look he has on his face when he returns to his cell. Just thinking about it makes my stomach churn.
I can sort of understand how you feel.
Probably had a dog dispose of the body. This is the truth of the case.
Do you mean to say the dog threw the body into the well?
Smart dog. Doggin has more than one dog, not just the black one, you know. Didn't I tell you? He has a henchman outside these walls as well.
You mean his henchmen outside the prison aided him in the crime?
Of course not. They would have been caught by the security gates. But think about it. Wasn't he the supplier? It's not hard to think he has dogs within the prison too.
Oh? Well then, why don't you tell me the names of those so-called dogs?
If I knew that, I wouldn't have gone through so much trouble. In any case, it's still a possibility. Please try to consider it.
She's dodging the question. Can't I pursue this line of thought any further? Warden Roland's testimony is covered in lies. If I pick them apart one by one, her true colors will surely be revealed.
Right. I believe the thing... Perhaps use the chisel hidden in the chessboard. We only just recently heard about that one. Specifically, I mean, the chessboard was kind of a well-known thing, but I think the chisel is a little bit more iffy. Or not.
Warden Roland, that statement you just made is contradictory.
Oh, is there something strange about it?
Yes, this evidence.
Stoneface, dude, her glare is terrifying.
I'll have to think things over a little more before jumping to conclusions.
Okay, maybe it was the chessboard, actually. Unless I'm supposed to be pressing something else. No, I mean, like, it tends to be the option that was found after doing the pressing. So chessboard. There we go.
Warden Roland, you certainly are sharp-witted.
Enough with the titles. Call me Patty. Patty.
However, there's something you were a little too knowledgeable about.
Embarrassed? Oh, you're such an inexperienced child, Edgeworth, dear.
Good.
Fight on, Mr. Edgeworth.
You said you didn't really know much about Knightley. If that's the case, how did you know about the chisel inside the chessboard?
Of course. The entrance check. There was no entrance check.
Enough with the poor excuses. The entrance check. The chessboard wasn't something Knightley brought with him. It was brought to him later by Mr. Keyes. He didn't even have it when he arrived here.
That's my mistake. I meant the partial check.
Even if we assume that, there are still many suspicious points. Why wasn't such a chisel immediately confiscated?
Gah!
Judge Courtney, did you tell anyone about the trick to this chessboard?
I did not.
If no information about our investigation was leaked, then how did you find out? You could not have examined this during the entrance check or parcel check.
Certainly, someone in the warden's position would never have let a chisel slip by.
Exactly. So answer this, Warden Roland. When and how did you learn about the chessboard's secret? In that case, I shall answer for you. It is because...
Oh, she's got it. Oh, or not. I give up, Edgeworth, dear. It is as you say. I interrogated Knightley. That's how I learned about the chessboard. But please, believe me, I didn't kill anyone. Enough. It would appear that we have uncovered some vital information. I'll ask you to testify once more, if that's all right with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
No objections here. Cool, this is what I wanted.
Thank you, Edgeworth dear. I'll do my best. Well then, Warden Roland, I trust there will be no lies from here on out.
Our pool of lies is slowly running dry. Soon I will bring out her true nature.
Hopefully. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an interrogation. I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals. Mr. Knightley, yes, we had a little chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you.
She's piling lies on top of lies, not realizing that it only tightens the noose around her neck.
You speak with the new prisoners, you say? That's right. I'm glad you understand.
Your testimony is not solid evidence. It requires more than just understanding.
Oh, jeez. Well then, Prosecutor Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination. Sorry, I'm a little bit snippy right now. I want to turn to cell. Health, I guess. For your health. Okay. Prison turnabout. Wonder how fast these saving and loading screens are in the future games. I feel like they're very advanced. The Apollo Justice one had like barely no save time whatsoever, so I'm looking forward to more of those. One goes so far as to call it an interrogation.
You're certain you interrogated him the day before the show?
Yes, around 3 a.m. on the 27th.
3 at night? That matches the time of death on Knightley's autopsy report. You summoned him that late at night and he wasn't asleep?
Well, a guard was attacked in Knightley's cell, remember? After that incident, we checked the cell and inquired about the circumstances. I'm sure all that excitement made it hard to sleep, but Knightley was wide awake, you know.
So even though it was highly irregular, you still carried out the late-night interrogation?
Edgeworth, dear, you're so mean. It may have been irregular, but the truth is I had him moved. You can call it what you like, it still doesn't change the facts. Please, excuse him. I'll give my incompetent apprentice a good scolding later. But for now, mademoiselle, what do you mean when you said you had him moved? I thought it was obvious, monsieur. I spoke to him in my office.
Her office? The route she used to move Knightley's body... Please add that statement to your testimony.
Of course. Around 3 a.m. the day before the show, the victim was brought into my office.
And where's your office located exactly?
You know that sign in the detention center hallway? You mean the one that says, no entry? Yeah, it's just a short walk up the aisle, about 5 minutes from the cell block.
I've heard that room exits into the courtyard.
Of course. That side of the courtyard is my private garden. Oh, I get it. You're gonna say I used that route to move the body.
Indeed, you must have been able to use it if you used that route.
For now, that is merely a possibility. There's no decisive evidence to support it.
But there's no other way the body could have been moved.
Surely you haven't forgotten my theory that Simon Keyes dropped the body in the well. That's right! That's right! What she said.
Weighing man. Pursuing this point further would be hazardous.
I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals.
What did you talk about?
What indeed? It was just trifling conversation. What kind of animals he liked, what his hobbies were, that sort of thing.
Hobbies? I assume he mentioned chess?
Oh, yes, that's all Knightley would ever talk about. And now that I think about it, the note he had in his room probably had something to do with chess, too.
So Warden Rowland saw Knightley's note.
Mr. Knightley, yes, we had a little chat.
And what was Knightley like during the interrogation?
He was very honest. Mr. Knightley was...
honest, pal?
He also talked about a croissant and some kind of promo.
In passant and chess piece promotions, I presume. Looks like he was his usual chess-loving self.
After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you.
If he really returned to his cell, there's no way he would be a corpse now.
I know you're suggesting that I killed him during the interrogation, but I couldn't possibly have had a motive to kill Knightley, could I? Doggin was the only one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim.
She only hated Doggin. Please add that statement to your testimony.
Doggin was the one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim.
The only one you hated was Dogan. Am I correct?
Yes, threatening me and doing whatever he wants in the prison. That man, I will never forgive him. I will do whatever it takes to corner him, including death. Oh, dear God. Can we just sit on this screen for just a brief period of time here? Thank you. And it's Black Dog, too. They aren't fit to live in my home.
She's brimming with hostility, even towards Dogan's dog. At first glance, it would seem she has no motive for killing Knightley. However, her hostility extends to anyone connected to Dogan. If I consider that, the answer will naturally flow.
She chats with the criminals? One sure is easygoing, sir.
Easygoing? She killed one of the criminals, you know.
Since the guy was handcuffed, it would have been a pretty one-sided affair.
Warden Roland has to be the killer. I have faith in my reasoning so far.
Alright. So, just in case, I've opened up some dialogue options, so I'm just going to save real quick. I certainly hope the fox around her neck doesn't just immediately turn into like a rabid possum or something. Like the second she finally snaps. Alright. How do we pin her? The idea. Let's go ahead and let me read that end part one last time here. Oh, shit. It wasn't the end part. It was specifically... Yeah, Dogan was the one I hated, was the one statement. I want to check that real quick again. Just to kind of absorb exactly what I'm looking for. She's brimming with hostility, even towards Dogan's dog. At first glance, it would seem she has no motive for killing Knightley. However, her hostility extends to anyone connected to Dogan. And if I consider that, the answer will naturally flow. She has natural hostility towards anybody connected with Dogan. Natural hostility. Alright, so what would full-on prove that she's got hostility in this scenario? And then what do I present in that kind of thing? Always make sure to talk to new arrivals. Had a chit-chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell. Yeah, it seems like the thing I'm supposed to be pressing is probably this. Dogan was the one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. Okay. Well, alright, if we're looking for just straight-up contradictions in this scenario, we could talk about Knightley's memo. And that's about the chessboard. Hey! How about that? He does have a connection with him.
Judge Courtney, I'd like you to have a look at this.
It looks like a record of a chess game. Is there something wrong with it?
This was discovered in the victim's cell. It was Knightley's memo. Warden Roland, you also discovered this note in the very same place. And not just in Knightley's cell, but in Dogan's too, correct?
What are you...
Don't say that you don't know about the chessboard in the special cell. After all, you would have kept an eye on Dogan's actions down to the smallest details. No, to be more precise, it wasn't Dogan that you needed to keep an eye on.
The warden was searching for Mr. Dogan's henchman.
From the start, I found it strange that the warden interrogated the prisoners personally. Since he used his henchmen to threaten harm to her family, Warden Roland interrogated Dogan to expose them.
So, what are you saying?
As you inspected Dogan's mail, you must have known that he played correspondence chess. And then Knightley appeared with a chess memo in hand. We deduce that he and Doggin were connected. You must have arrived at the same conclusion as well. However, you went one step too far in your reasoning. You thought Knightley was one of Doggin's henchmen, who had come to kill you.
So that's why you interrogated Knightley boy. If the boss won't crack, go after his henchman.
In addition, you discovered something when you were interrogating him. Inside his chessboard, you found a portable chisel.
The murder weapon!
To Warden Roland, the chisel was a symbol of Doggin, and that was the final straw. You believed Knightley was one of Doggin's henchmen, and you killed him! It seems there will be no rebuttal. Judge Courtney, your verdict! Quickly, before she turns it around!
Though it is incredibly unfortunate, there seems to be no room for doubt. I shall announce my verdict for the murder of Horace Knightley.
Yeah.
Twice my sacred verdict has been interrupted. Who was that?
Of course.
Warden Roland? Oh, how strange. You guys really don't understand anything.
It would seem the one who doesn't understand is you.
Me? Oh, I understand one thing very well. There is a huge contradiction in your logic, Mr. Edgeworth.
Once she's cornered, she starts spouting nonsense. Pay it no heed. Judge Courtney, your verdict.
I'm interested in hearing what the warden has to say.
What?
I thought so. So, I just have one thing to say.
One?
Please take a good look at the autopsy report.
The autopsy report? The one I brought with me?
I heard exactly what you said earlier, Justine darling. You said the wound was 4 inches deep.
4 inches.
No way! Could that tiny chisel really have made a wound 4 inches deep?
Impossible!
How could I have made such an error? Oh, forgive me, goddess of law! Well, I believe that overturns your hypothesis. What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth?
What do we do? It'll be all right, pal. Mr. Edgeworth always... What the hell?
Whoa, hey now, he's gone all white.
Hey, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? Isn't there something you could do, pal? Do that turnabout thing, make some shattering objection.
I'm gonna raise a hard worker, but without decisive evidence, we're just whipping a dead horse here. Does that mean it's hopeless?
I have one concept in my head, and it's gonna be hilarious if it's true. And it has something to do with an animal and a particular thing inside its stomach. The true killer is Warden Roland. If it's not her, then nothing that's happened fits. But the chisel isn't the murder weapon. Are there any other sharp objects here?
There are still many mysteries remaining in this case. However, we do not have the evidence to solve them at this present time. We have no choice but to continue this battle in the courtroom.
Objection.
Nope. That would just give the killer a chance to destroy evidence.
Are you mocking the court?
No. I didn't mean anything like that.
You look perplexed, Miles. Thought of anything yet?
The chisel is not the murder weapon. In that case, what is? It's no use. We're back where we started.
No objections, Prosecutor Edgeworth? By the way, any baseless statements will be punished accordingly.
So many dots. It's no good. I can't think of anything. I need more time. Regret to say I have no... What?
No, Mr. Edgeworth! Remember what Mr. Shield said. If we give up, Simon will... Have you forgotten that sad look on his face? He's a very sad individual. He was the one who suffered most from Knightley's death. If we can't save him, who will? Besides, Simon believes in us, so we can't give up.
Kay. Oh, that's so sappy.
Miles, looks like you found a good partner. It's like little Kay says. Whenever you're backed into a corner, think of your client. Keep fighting until the very end. Isn't that the feeling you're getting? Gregory, your old man, no matter what trouble he faced, he would always turn things around and save his client. You've got his blood in you, right? In that case, you're the only one who can turn this around. Well, thanks for the pressure.
Judge Courtney?
The look in your eyes has suddenly changed. If you do intend to speak, you'd better be prepared to face the consequences.
I am now prepared. I know what that crap means. Although, again, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing here.
Your logic thus far has been misplaced numerous times. If this were to happen again, I will consider you unfit to call yourself a prosecutor, and you will hand over your badge.
That's right. My reasoning about this case has indeed been misplaced numerous times. Have I made a grave miscalculation? Wait. My logic is misplaced.
Still silent? I cannot condone this waste of time. Well then,
Mr. Edgeworth!
Mr. Edgeworth?
I will announce my verdict.
Use your brain.
That's it. I have to turn my logic around. My logic isn't misplaced. It's been misled.
This court finds the defendant, Simon Keyes.
Again, I don't like the fact there's a literal judge just running around. Judge, jury, and executioner.
Isn't it a little early to hand down a verdict?
I actually think it's rather late. Don't you agree, Justine, darling?
Enlighten us.
What?
Try to remember the eyewitness account about his dog and his absence from the animal show. When I first heard that information, my suspicion immediately fell on Dogan.
I'm amazed you take such pride in retelling your previous failings.
But was that not the killer's aim? What if we assumed that was their intention from the start? Of course, the chisel served the same purpose. Knightley's body was stabbed in the same spot with multiple sharp objects. This shows that he was stabbed with the chisel after the real murder weapon was removed. By soaking this chisel in Knightley's blood, the killer wanted to mislead us into thinking the chisel was the murder weapon. Why? That's because...
Why'd the killer want us to think the chisel was the What? I feel like that's pretty obvious. It was the murder weapon. To get Knightley expelled. To get Doggin expelled. There.
Warden Roland, you made use of this chisel's image.
The chisel's image? What are you trying to say?
Mr. DeBest, when you see this chisel, what does it suggest to you?
Something like Doggin is the killer, right? Wow. If he can get it, then... I mean, anybody could.
Now do you understand? That was the warden's aim.
Oh, she wanted us to suspect the person with the chisels!
Indeed, that was her plan from the very beginning. To make Siren Dogan out to be the killer.
I understand your logic. It is true that Warden did not think kindly of Dogan,
But you understand, don't you? This alone does not prove she is the killer. As I thought, it's not enough. The remaining chance is for me to find the real murder weapon. If you have no more evidence, I believe this conversation is over. I could prove it if I found the real murder weapon. It doesn't matter what you say! We did a clean sweep on this place. It is as Sebastian says. In the end, we could not find any weapons. In other words, such proof is impossible. There's one thing you are not going to check in a million years. No, the murder weapon must still be somewhere in the prison. As long as this exists. The security gate! You remember its name after all. Are you mocking me? It's because of those things that you can't take metal objects in or out of this place. Right, as long as those security gates exist, the murder weapon should still be here. That also means no weapon could have been brought into the prison. In the end, we're back to the same mystery after all. Judge Courtney? Prosecutor Edgeworth, surely you've realized if the real murder weapon is still in the prison, one must also consider how it got there in the first place. The chisel was concealed within the chessboard, but the chisel is not the real murder weapon, which means the real murder weapon must have been smuggled in somehow. The way it was smuggled in. Can you prove that? How Warden Roland brought the weapon into the prison. You had evidence transferred from the precinct? Yes, we borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogan. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... That's it! She could have used that! This shows another way a weapon could be brought into the prison. Alright, other sets of evidence, eh? Oh, there's the roll call. I'm trying to remember exactly this, because this was a fairly long time ago. I'm trying to remember exactly. Hound piece. I do wonder if that hound piece is going to be used at all in anything else. Well, the good news is that I have a ton of health, so I could just... at this point, I could probably just throw myself at this thing. Well, it's definitely not the autopsy report. Are we trying to specifically talk about the smuggling ring in some capacity? That might be. And it wouldn't be the investigation. That means nothing. Ooh, a tunnel. Photograph the tunnel connecting the detention center and the prison. No, I don't think so either. I think that's a red herring. Can you imagine if you were playing this game and you did, like, you still had no idea? No, what I was saying is, oh god, if they didn't organize your evidence and throw out the stuff you didn't need, that would be insane. This is a tunnel that connects the detention center and the prison. Professor Edgeworth! So that's how you bring metal objects into the prison. Indeed, with this, even something metal could be... Exactly how does that let metal objects be brought into the prison? By sneaking it underground? I don't know. What? You really can't use that to bring metal objects into the prison? Professor Edgeworth, I'm disappointed in you. Shit. Sorry to let you down. So there really isn't a way to bring metal objects into the prison? No, there's a way, besides sending it in a package. And this shows that method. Well then, Professor, show it to us. I'm not sure if I should say this in front of Kay. She'll use this information for something very devious. Okay, this is directly a part of the smuggling ring, so I'm going to take a guess and say that this is probably exactly what I'm supposed to be pressing in the first place. Nope. That would be the next, the next best thing, and maybe I need to, like, point it out. Nope. Oh, shit. Okay. I think I lost the plot. Yeah, no. No idea why this would be it. I don't know. That's wrong, I figured. Hey, maybe we'll get our first game over. Is the point we're trying to make here the fact that you could cut off the power to certain things? Nope. Nope. I had an idea. I had a roundabout idea about the chisel, and no, that was wrong. Does it have something to do with the dead person? I don't know. Nope. Hey, look, game over. To come this far, only to lose the truth. But it seems there's nothing I can do now. Thus the truth was lost for all eternity. Borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogen. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but that's it. She could have used that. This shows another way a weapon could be... Okay, so it has something to do with the evidence involved with Dogen in another case. She would have had to transfer it. Okay, does it have everything to do with Dogen's stuff? So it wasn't the chisel. Maybe it had something to do with, like, Dogen's bell or something. Shit! God damn it! This is another case of me not paying enough attention. Yesterday, Dogen said this.
Yes, my bells. Though there are only two in this world.
Only two?
They're custom made, attached to my knife and Anubis's collar. Even though I can only rely on my ears, I can easily identify them. The last one has been confiscated and is not in my possession.
Oh, interesting. So now it makes a little... weird. I was about to say, maybe that makes sense now that we have found it on the chisel. It's possible the murder weapon was brought in as confiscated evidence! What? What? Dogen's knife was confiscated and stored on the premise. Furthermore, a bell was attached to the knife. It can't be! The bell on that chisel? Exactly. The killer took it from the knife and reattached it to the chisel. But the only fingerprints on the chisel are Knightley's. The killer probably wore gloves when they made the switch. She made the chisel out to be the murder weapon by attaching Dogen's bell. And in doing so, made Dogen appear to be the culprit. Furthermore, the handling of the set of evidence that this bell originally belonged to was only possible for someone with the proper authority. Who, sir? Who had that authority? You're looking at her square in the face, dude.
Why don't we ask the warden what she thinks?
You can't find bells anywhere. Anyone could have attached it right. I see. So you don't know. These bells are Dogen's trademark. There are only two in the world. What? And so, attaching the bell would naturally make you the killer. Do you have any evidence that I have the knife? You don't, do you? Of course, I understand. In that case, Mr. DeBest, I'd like to request an investigation immediately. But if you find it, it'd be problematic for me. That doesn't matter now. It is necessary that we reveal the truth. You are a prosecutor, are you not?
Well, even if you say that.
Curse this useless prosecutor. If only I still had investigative rights. Besides, we can't investigate without the warden's permission, right? There's no way she would approve. We have no choice but to investigate ourselves.
If you don't have evidence, there's no use in continuing this conversation. The goddess of law does not smile upon those with no evidence. This will have to be continued in the courtroom.
Not good. If we give the warden more time here, she'll definitely destroy the evidence. It seems like I have no choice but to raise an objection and stall for time. But I don't have anything definitive. Is that really acceptable? Is this really like me to do something this reckless? No, not good. Now is not the time for hesitation. Right now, I'm not a prosecutor, but an attorney's assistant. I need to protect my client. This scruffy little man here. I'm the only one who can save him now. In that case, even if it's a 1 in a million chance, I have to take it. It's sink or swim. Should I raise an objection?
Hell yeah!
It almost feels like I've turned into a certain bluffing defense attorney. But right now, I can't come to a standstill here. Hold it!
Prosecutor Edgeworth, what now?
I just realized something.
What would that be, pray tell?
Naturally, the whereabouts of the real murder weapon. Dogen's knife!
Mr. Edgeworth, is that really true?
Yes, though it is a lie.
I find that hard to believe. This isn't a bluff, is it?
You underestimate me. The word bluff does not exist in my dictionary. This is bad for my heart.
There's no way you could know, because such a thing doesn't even exist.
Well then, could you enlighten us? Where is the real murder weapon?
Think. Brain blast! Somewhere the police didn't look. A blind spot in this animal-filled prison. A hiding place the warden would have complete confidence in. Hiding place. Come to think of it.
Meh. It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth.
It's inside the dog. No, I know where it is.
The same method? No, it couldn't be. Could it? But there aren't that many ways to hide things from an investigator's eyes.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, how long do you intend to keep us waiting?
It's possible, but I'm not taking a big gamble here. The place where the real murder weapon is hidden is here!
In the courtyard.
Here in the courtyard?
Indeed.
That's not enough information. Please show us in more detail.
Where is the real murder weapon hidden? Oh. Doink.
That's it. Back then. What's the matter, detective? Looks like the metal detector is reacting to this alligator.
Really? Why?
Of course. That's why the metal detector reacted. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to take a look at this.
The chisel? Wasn't that just the fake murder weapon?
Dogen hid this chisel inside the dog's mouth. His dog's mouth. And the real murder weapon was hidden in very much the same way. The real murder weapon is in the pond, inside the alligator.
What? What?
We can confirm that the metal detector reacted to the alligator. Judge Courtney, please have the insides of the alligator examined.
How do you give your consent in this situation? I have no freaking idea. She must be thinking all this is loony, but okay.
I give my consent. We'll have to call a veterinarian. I can make that little girl open her mouth. Can I help?
Yes, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Oh dear. She is so magical.
Warden Roland, discovering the real murder weapon will settle this matter once and for all. Why don't you do the honorable thing and confess now?
What would I have to confess?
In that case, you can just wait for your fate to be sealed.
Oh, we found it, sir. Just what you said it would be.
It's over. Patricia Rowland, the real murder weapon is none other than Dogan's knife. And the one who murdered Horace Knightley can only be you!
Dogan was the evil one. I didn't do anything wrong. It was completely reasonable. That guy was one of Dogan's henchmen. Him. If only he had never come to my home, I could at least still be happy. My special paradise. He ruined it. All of it. Him. That no good assassin. Him. So, Ruffle, there goes the fox. Oh, dear, shit! I feel like if you were nearby anywhere she was at, you would have a stuffy nose. Constantly. March 28th, 12:34 p.m. Detention Center hallway. This is the best of the best. We have the results.
The best of the best? Looks like even the forensics officers have it tough.
We found traces of Knightley's blood on Dogan's knife. It was just like you said. You're the best, Mr. DeBest. Shut your face. All right. Good job. But don't stop there. Keep the praising coming. Yes, sir. You're so incredible. It brings tears to my eyes.
From sorrow?
Well done, Sebastian. Next comes the follow-up investigation.
What are you talking about, Justine? Hasn't the case been solved already?
We have not yet confirmed if Knightley truly was one of Dogan's henchmen. There is also a chance that Warden Roland jumped to conclusions.
Oh!
That is the remaining uncertainty in this case.
Anyway, let's keep investigating. Hey, you there! Come with me! Since I'm the best, the truth will appear before me first. When that moment arrives, make sure you don't miss it. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to witnessing your first-rate ability. Let's go! And there he goes. Like some strange fairy. In an entire other reality.
We live in troubling times, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, troubling times if by troubling you mean troubling me, madam. And you specifically.
The would-be assassin of the president was found murdered in the prison.
Knightley had not planned to assassinate the president.
The truth is not as vital as you seem to believe it to be. Not to the world, and not to the law.
That can't be right!
Believe what you will, however. As long as Prosecutor Edgeworth remains a prosecutor, it is an inescapable reality.
A prosecutor is not someone who demands a guilty verdict. That is what I believe.
Those are merely your values. The law is not the plaything of any one person. If you will not submit to that, you will do well to prepare for the consequences.
What's that supposed to mean, pal? Don't tell me you're gonna...
Now then, this is where I must take my leave, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
That was a lot of badge threats within the span of an entire case.
Judge Courtney is right. The law should not serve any one person's desires. However, if the truth is bent as a result of that, can that really be called justice?
Hey, buddy.
Simon!
Boss!
What happened? They said you could come out already?
Well, honestly,
I don't know for sure. All of a sudden, they were like, you're free to go, and you should thank Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, that's because he found out who the real murderer was.
Really? He did? Mr. Edgeworth?
Now it's time for my praise. Yay! I'm going to absorb it like a sponge.
No way! No way, no way, no way! Even if you glare at me like that, it's useless. I'm innocent after all. You can't make me guilty. Simon, you should thank him, you know. You're right. Thank you very much. I want to thank you too.
Good grief.
Mr. Defense Attorney, can I ask you just one more question?
Yes, you may, but I'm not a defense attorney.
I thought that Knightley and I were friends. No, I mean best friends. I always thought we were.
You don't think so anymore?
Well, I'm just wondering. There were some things I had no idea about. Like how he could hate someone enough to kill them. That's why maybe he never trusted me either. Simon, that's not true. You're lying! Because if I had known, I could have stopped him! I would have told him he had no need to be angry with me, or anything, or...
Mr. Keys, I don't think he disliked you either. Let's show him proof that Knightley trusted him.
And you know, I'm getting the feeling it's probably the chessboard. Because that's the most sappy, sentimental thing here. Taking a look around at everything. Knightley hit a chisel inside in order to get it past air.
That's what I gave to...
Knightley hit a chisel inside it, most likely to aid in his escape.
Escape? He used me?
Not quite.
He trusted in you. He knew you'd bring it to him without looking into it and without question. And in doing just that, you were caught up in everything.
Knightley, you idiot!
Looks like he gets it.
Simon's not as dumb as he looks, after all. I'm sure he'll be back to normal by tomorrow.
Was that supposed to be a compliment?
I'll be strong. I'll become a splendid wild animal tamer. For Knightley's sake.
Well, before that happens, you really should try and actually train your monkey, as opposed to whatever you're letting him do right now.
Excellent. That's the spirit.
Yeah. That. Stop it, that's freaky.
Yeah, I almost forgot. If you'd like, please come to our next show.
Whoa, that's pretty looking. Oh, hey, nice.
I'll also be performing in it. The Berry Big Circus is always fabulous and fun for all ages.
There's a Mr. Galactica.
Wow, that sounds like fun. Let's go, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, I'll think about it.
Well, we need to get back to practicing right away. You'll be with Regent today. What? The tiger? No way, no way, no way, no way. It'll be fine. He's a good boy. No way! There's no way it'll be fine. Please cut me a break, boss!
Poor sap. And there they go. Clap, clap, clap. But man, bravo, bravo. You really put on a good show today, Miles.
It's all thanks to you, Mr. Shields. Without your help, she might have gotten away. Not to mention allowing us to continue the investigation.
Aw, man, cut it out already. You're gonna make me blush.
I never know when you're being serious.
Uncle Ray's always serious. So, how was it, Miles? How'd it feel to be a defense attorney? To save people?
A defense attorney?
But, that really took me back. It was just like being next to the old man again. It's been a while since I felt this good.
It was, well, it's somewhat difficult to say it was a good thing.
Come on, Miles, are you sure you don't want to be a defense attorney?
What?
You know, pick up where your father left off. Don't you want to save people like he did?
Technically, I can do that as a prosecutor. I mean, the whole point is to find the guilty people and find the people that aren't guilty innocent. What are you talking about, pal? Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecutor.
But is it really that unusual for a prosecutor to become a defense attorney these days?
Usual isn't the problem here. Hey, don't be so upset. It's normal, you know, normal. It's not normal, pal.
You all make for a powerful defense team.
Mr. Shields, I am a prosecutor.
And Uncle Ray is a defense attorney. That's why I'm being serious about this. Well, that's just my opinion. Feel free to drop by anytime if you have a change of heart. I'll be waiting for you. Good day, sir. I'm sure we'll probably see you in the 3rd chapter.
Follow in my father's footsteps? Me? Become a defense attorney? I'm going to become a defense attorney, just like my dad!
Ah, poor buddy.
Should I become a defense attorney? Like my father?
The end. Thing is, I have no idea what the outcome of this is going to end up being. Because I don't know how that, you know, I haven't seen any of the future games. I have no idea what his status is in those, so for all I know, this might have been the turning point game, and maybe they just sort of patched that one up at the very, I don't know, just mentioned it or something in the next few games, being like, oh yeah, I'm not a prosecutor anymore. I am a defense attorney too now. Just like, oh, okay. Which would make it even more sad if it turned out something this character crucial happened in a game that didn't even get ported to the States. But, oh, hey, it looks like a Mr. Shields is going to be the next silhouette. And the next thing is going to be the Inherited Turnabout. Okay. Well, this has been fun, but I think we're going to call it since we are nearing 10 o'clock tonight. And also, I'm getting a little bit gunked up. I don't know why. Oh, I should mention that apparently there's a cold going around somewhere around here, so if I know anything like this area like I think I do, colds just kind of waft through, and then you suck it up and deal with it when you get it. So I'll see what happens. But that'll do it for the stream tonight. So thanks everybody who popped into the stream to check it out or watch it. I appreciate it very much. If you want to take a look at this after it's done, I'm going to be taking the VOD. I'm probably going to be cutting out a whole bunch of the trouble I had at the very end there. And I'm probably going to upload it to the YouTube channel after all that is said and done. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I should mention, tomorrow, I do stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, but tomorrow I'm actually going to be putting off my stream time for a multitude of reasons. One of them being I want to do a VR stream really, really bad, and I want to have that thing set up before the stream begins. I don't want to repeat of the last time I tried to do a VR stream, which was hot garbage. So I'm going to be taking some extra steps to make sure that everything is working and proper before I begin. Also, I mean, as well as it's Father's Day on Sunday, and I do have a few plans put together. So in the time that I would have spent doing the stream, I'm going to be taking that time and putting together stuff for the sake of VR. And then I'm going to be streaming on Monday, the following Monday. Some other games I'm doing. Again, I want to do a VR stream next. I've been playing, again, Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. I've been thinking, like, I really, really want to do another Hat in Time mod special.
I know I literally just did that, but a whole bunch of really good mods just came out of nowhere. And I don't know if like maybe just I know that the community has a Discord, I believe, and I'm curious if maybe like on the Discord a whole bunch of people finally got done with a bunch of projects at once. Well, you know what I think it is? Because they recently got done with the whole mapping contest thing. And I wonder if maybe people finally got some time to be able to work on their own stuff, or, you know, stuff that wasn't going to be judged via a contest, and now it's like really freeform and everybody's just making a bunch of content now. I have no clue. I really want to play Air Memories of Old again, because that was just chill. Bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of things lined up and on the table. But that'll do it for the stream tonight. Again, thanks for coming out. See you next time.